Hello everybody, welcome to Chit-Chat Tuesday. I see there's a couple of people watching already, Cowabunga and Soldier, hello to you. And hello to those of you that start appearing very, very shortly. I'm really happy to be here tonight with Neil Packer from the Haunted Antiques Paranormal Research Centre. But also Neil's got a wonderful ParaMeet. He runs his own events. And he also has a program called The Demon Files, which is really interesting, and it's recently been renamed as Demon Connections. Probably what you might have seen Neil on before, those of you who watched this morning, is he's been on talking about his haunted antiques collection. And hello to you, Neil. I know that one of the things that people know from looking at your website is that you contacted to begin with lots and lots of different antiques centres. Hello there, Leah. And that was to see if they had haunted objects, and only one actually responded and replied to you. So if you can talk about your journey into the haunted antiques, and also as well your interest and fascination with the paranormal as well, please.
Okay, yeah, of course. Evening, everybody. Thanks for inviting me onto the show, Paul. It's great to talk to you.
Thank you.
I've been interested in paranormal many years. I used to co-run a venue group where we took guests to different locations, but I quickly got bored with that, to be honest. That's not what I wanted to do. So I thought about going into haunted objects and researching them. And I thought antiques would be a good starting point, because if any item is going to hold on to energies, it would be antiques, because I think antiques were loved and cherished items. So that's where that idea came up. And like you said, I did contact about 20 different antique dealers around the Leicestershire area, and only one replied, and he allowed me to go in and investigate his centre one evening. And the activity we got simply from the items, the antiques, was fantastic. And I thought, yeah, this really could work. So that's how we carried on.
Great stuff. I want to say hello to Alison, Amanda, Leah said to Paranormal, MIT, Neil and Soldier are watching. If there's anybody I've missed, because sometimes I notice people do comment on YouTube, it doesn't always go through. So if there's anybody that has commented and I've not said your name, I do apologise. So some of the experiences you had through these antiques during your first investigation, please.
Yeah, well, we discovered that there was a baby buried in the corner of the shop. On research, the owner did find out that that is actually true. And we had some items where the spirits who stayed with that item didn't like what we're doing. They didn't like how their item had been passed down from the family to the shop. We had a little boy jumping out of a photograph, and that was quite interesting. We do have the photograph of the centre now, so that was really interesting. And we used an SLS camera. We caught stick figures. I'm not too sure if SLS cameras do actually work, but it did look interesting. So, and we had footsteps in the shop. People being touched, and that was just over 2 hours that we were in the shop. So that said to me, yeah, haunted antiques could be a thing. So I started collecting antiques and items that I was drawn to. It's like a voice in my head saying, "Get that, Neil. That's kind of interesting." Or when we go to antique centres, Jane, the medium of the centre, she'll pick up on any spirits there, and she'll say, "We need that item back at the centre, Neil." So that's how we get our items.
Good. So there's Gillian here, Debs is here, Panoptis, I'm dyslexic, I got that right, and Lorna is here. Now, what I have got up here, where are we? I just want to know, Amanda, so this is your question. I have an awesome photograph of a ghost next to my bed, to me while sleeping. Is that a haunted object that is nearby? I don't know if you can share it on here if you're interested, but probably private Facebook me would be the best way. And if it's not to do with a haunted object, they will get it on. Maybe do a captures evening or something like that would be really good. Hello to Soldier. I don't know if I said hello to Soldier, and hello to Jane. So can you just also as well talk about some of the really interesting objects? I mean, those of us who have seen this morning, you have a wheelchair, a voodoo doll, and is there a gas mask as well? I think I saw that on there.
There's a number of gas masks, yeah.
Yeah. So if you can explain some of them, and what was your first that was your object into the museum?
The first item I bought was the World War II baby gas mask, because I was immediately drawn to that at the antique shop. Because to be honest, it's the most hideous thing I'd ever seen. It was awful. I couldn't imagine putting my baby in that during an air raid. We got the centre split into different rooms. Like we got the Victorian Sounds parlour, which is all Victorian stuff, like Victorian photographs and candle, grandfather clock and that sort of thing in that centre. Then we have the war room, which is filled with normally World War II or World War One items, such as the wheelchair, and we've got an Anderson shelter in there. We got guns, we've got helmets, quite a few helmets. Then we've got the doll room. We've got lots and lots of dolls and clowns, rocking chairs. I'm finding now quite a few people are sending me supposedly haunted dolls, because they don't want them in their house any longer. So I have them at the centre. And then we have a witches or cult room, which is full of voodoo dolls, African voodoo items, Nkondi, Zulu spears, Aleister Crowley stuff. And then we've got the attic, which is the darkest room, which is where we've got the portal mirror, and that sort of thing. So the mix is huge, and it's a fascinating place, even to say so myself.
Brilliant. Soldier and Gillian are saying hi to each other, which is lovely to see.
Yeah.
Great stuff. So unlike other museums that have haunted objects, unless they're really old and can be damaged, most of the objects that you go to aren't behind glass panels.
Okay. Yeah.
And you encourage people to hold them and touch them. So if you say a little bit about that and what you're hoping to get whilst people hold on to these objects.
Yeah. It was always important to me when I first had the idea of opening the centre that you can go to a museum, but you can't touch things. I'm a big believer in psychometry, but you need to be able to touch things. There's only 3 items under glass at the centre. One is a doll, not because it's evil or any rubbish like that. It's because the old lady in spirit, whose doll it is, asked us to not let people mess with it. So out of respect to her, we keep it under glass, but no one's allowed to touch her. Another thing is a black figurine which come from Morocco, and it's a cursed item. Apparently, so the story goes, one lady dropped it and broke the head off it, and she had a car accident a few months later and broke her neck. So I don't want people to die,
No.
just in case. I'm not saying the story's true, but that's what I've been told, so that's what we go with. Another one is a cabinet full of little chemist bottles. Because they're all chemist bottles, they could potentially contain poisonous vapor. So again, I don't want people dying.
No.
Not up the centre, because I imagine the paperwork would be horrendous.
Yeah, absolutely, and it would get into the papers and things.
Yeah.
Mind you probably also get an influx as well to see if it really is, as well. You get
Yeah.
Patricia, did I say hello to you? If I didn't, I'm so sorry, because people's names going up here. I had a clock that the hands would suddenly go backwards at speed, then go to the correct time. Haunted clocks, do you have any in your collection? Or
We do. Yes, we do. We have a grandmother clock, it's called, and that's supposed to be gentleman stands by the side of it. We've got other clocks as well. The one thing we don't say at the centre is all the items are haunted. I think it's up to people to tell us what they think. Everything people say to us, we record, and that gets added to our research because our research is building over the years. We've been open just over 4 years, so it's not my place to tell people it's haunted. I believe some things are, but I want people to tell me, and then if they're saying the same things as we picked up on, that's kind of interesting then.
Absolutely. Soldier says Neil's place is absolutely amazing. There are many haunted objects there and a great place to hunt. So because people can use it as a place to hunt, can you just, I usually do this later, but I think it'd be the ideal time, if you can say about the museum, cost eventually when it's open, and also as well how people can get in contact if they think, this would be an amazing place to do a paranormal investigation.
Yeah, well, we open Saturdays during the day for the general public to just come in, have a tour. The tours are £3 per adult. Children can come in free. So that's just on Saturdays. Paranormal teams were open Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays to book an event. At the minute, it costs £250 to hire the museum for an event. But beginning of next year, because of the cost of living, I'm knocking 20% off that price. So if you book the first 6 months next year, you just pay £200 for the evening investigation. We also do some ghost hunts ourselves, where you go around with us, and we do some for just £15 per person. Again, I want to, because the cost of living, I think the paranormal is going to be hit, because people can't afford £40-50. So I'm trying to give the people a chance to still follow the passion of investigating, but for only £15, you get a 3-hour ghost hunt for that, and you get to investigate with us. So
sounds fantastic.
I'm trying my best to help people keep investigating, because it's going to be a hard year and a half, I think, ahead of us.
Indeed. Lorna says, is it a guided tour at the museum?
Yeah, we do guided tours on a Saturday between 10 and 4.
Brilliant. Excellent. Well, I do want to hear more about the fascinating museum shortly, but it's nice to also mention some of the other things that you do. If you can say about the events, you've got ParaMeet coming up, but I know that you also do quite a lot of other events. So if you can talk about ParaMeet and some of the other events that you've got coming up, because I also realise that not everybody might be able to get off work during the ParaMeet event and all that.
Yeah, the ParaMeet is a weekend long event. We got it's the 23rd, 24th, and 25th of September. On the 23rd, the Friday night, we got Penny Griffiths Morgan coming to the centre doing a talk on the workhouses, and then we're doing a ghost hunt afterwards. But not unfortunately, all the tickets are gone for that, so that's good. Then on the Saturday, we got a day-long event at Bosworth Hall, which is not at Market Bosworth, not far from Hinckley. We've got lots of good speakers like yourself, Paul. We got Richard Felix. We've got Hazel Ford from Haunted Happenings. We've got about 6 or 7 different speakers. The important thing for me is they are all from the UK. I know there's other paranormal conventions and paranormal meetups, but they tend to bring American speakers in, and I'm not really into that sort of thing. I'd sooner listen to someone from United Kingdom. So we've got that all day. We've got stalls, we've got mediums on, we've got tarot readers, crystals. We've got the Haunted Magazine guys there, because they support the centre enormously, Paul and Andy, and the Haunted Life guys. So we've got a Haunted Magazine there as well. And it's only £5 to come in for the day, which is important to me. Again, keep it at a sort of price that everyone can afford. So, and Bosworth Hall is an amazing building.
It most certainly is.
Then on the evening, we have got another ghost hunt at the centre, and that's again sold out. And then on the Sunday, we've got an afternoon ghost hunt at the centre, and again that's sold out. and we were planning on doing the world's largest seance Sunday evening, but the amount the Guinness Book of Records wanted me to pay was ridiculous, so I'm not doing that.
Yeah, you could always do an unofficial one, or
yeah, you know, they wanted £10,000, and I'm not doing that. So that's the ParaMeet. The reason behind the ParaMeet is just to get everyone who's interested in the paranormal just to meet up and talk and share experiences. There's a thing in the paranormal field at the minute that people don't like sharing things. They don't like sharing locations, or they don't like sharing the evidence, because if you share something on Facebook, you get these trolls who attack you. We've had it. So I understand why people don't share photos and videos. But I just want the normal people of the paranormal field just to get together, to have a chat, meet each other. And if you're part of a small team, make friends with another small team, so you can go and investigate Warwick Castle or Dudley Castle, or the big locations where you can't afford to go on your own. So that's the idea of the ParaMeets. It's just to get to know other people, especially smaller teams and individuals. We also do ghost hunts ourselves at the centre, and we've just actually opened an escape room in the back half of the building as well. We opened that last weekend. That was incredible. It was so much fun.
Brilliant. Yeah, I haven't done one of those yet. Lorna says, I love old chemist bottles, all the different shapes and colours, and yeah, so of glass. And Soldier says, wow, Neil, sounds like you have really grown. Patricia says, I think glass holds energy. Because you're into psychometry, what do you find the best objects for holding energy?
It's not really me. It's Jane, who's the medium of the centre. She is the backbone of the centre. Without Jane, we couldn't do it. So the way we work, Jane and I have been working together for, I don't know, 10 years easy now. So we work really well together. So the way Jane and I, and Amy and Anto, who's part of the team as well now, and Julie, Jane will talk to the spirits because she's the medium, and she'll ask them what equipment they want us to use. So if she says, they say dowsing rods, that's what we'll use, or whatever equipment that the spirits find easier to manipulate. That's how we would do it.
Great stuff. There's Steve is here. Maya is here. Sorry if I didn't say your name before, Maya. Brilliant. So, yeah, what's some of the most powerful objects you got there, according to Jane, then?
Well, by far the most powerful is the big mirror in the attic room. It is a portal mirror. Jane has actually astral projected into it, so we do know what's the other side. And she wrote an article for the Haunted magazine if people want to read it. So that is very, very powerful. And that allows, it tends to be negative spirits in and out the attic room. So the attic room is the most negative normally. But the wheelchair is really, really good. You know, people sit in it, and depending what energy they pick up on, it could be a different soldier or different airman or different sailors who did sit in it. But I can't pinpoint one item because it all depends on the night. Seriously, the centre is different. You can go in 1 o'clock in the afternoon and it feels one way. You go in at 2 o'clock in the afternoon and it's totally different. We don't know what we're walking into.
Great. I must say hi to Annie, who has just appeared in chat. Hello to you. Patricia asked, what makes a mirror a portal?
I don't think every mirror is a portal. It's just that this one is. It's come from a house cleansing clearance that a medium friend of ours did, and it backed onto an old temple, and we think, excuse me, that's what has generated that mirror into being a portal.
Good. And before I get on to the demon files, I just wanted to know, demon connections, that's it. I just wanted to know what some of the Aleister Crowley objects that you have in the museum.
Oh, we've got quite a few of his books, and we've got a copy of his death mask. Aleister Crowley's spirit, we do believe Aleister Crowley's spirit does come up to the centre, and I do believe it's because of the demon connections that we're doing. But we first came across Aleister Crowley when we were in Hastings, in the museum down in Hastings. I can't think of the name now, to be honest. And we came across him there because they had some of his items as well. So I would like more of Aleister Crowley, to be honest.
I'm sure that you'll get some more of his things. Now, be interested in demon connections, demon files. I'm sure you'll get some people that still, I know it's demon connections, will still refer to it as the demon files.
Yeah.
Shire Ghost. I'd get this up. We'll go to demon connection, but I know I'll miss this. Can haunted items cause possessions, and could it be the reason why most postal workers is grumpy and rarely seen during the daytime? Right, okay. I don't know. So yeah, I like to know a bit more about the demon connections, because it's not just the religious, what's in the Bible sort of things about demons. You kind of dug deeper than that. So can you talk about that? That'd be amazing, please.
Yeah, this all started during lockdown, with Jane, because Jane was poorly over lockdown as well, and then with all the lockdowns. So Jane reads a stupid amount of books, because we came ourselves as a research centre, so we don't. We question everything. So, like, for example, we question Ouija boards. Why do you have to open them? Why do you have to close them? And that sort of thing. So we question demons. And the more Jane dug into it, the more we thought, they're not like what Hollywood portrays them. They are not evil. They don't possess people. I apologise if people are religious. We're not religious. So Jane and I come up with this idea. And Jane got all the invocation from spirit. So Jane has the approval from the spirit world to do this as well. So I think that's what makes us different to the other demonologists, sort of thing. So the first one Jane and I did, we didn't do a live feed. We just did it behind just Jane and myself, just because we didn't know what was going to happen. And we got so much information from this first demon that we thought, this could work. So we've done, I think we've done about 18 so far in the demon files. We should still call it demon files, even though we can't call it demon files because that name's already been used up. So we used to do them on a live feed, so on our page on our YouTube channel. But we've stopped doing the live feed now because we think they're good enough to take to a wider audience. So what we do now is record them, and then my eldest son edits them, and he's editing episode 1 as we speak. And then they're going to go on to a worldwide paranormal network.
Excellent. Can you say how people can get hold of this worldwide paranormal network? Because I know one of your lives you mentioned it, and it's good value as well if you wanted to join monthly or for the year or something like that.
Yeah, we are taking the demon files onto the Paraflix paranormal network. I think it's something like £25 a year or $3.99 a month, something like that, which is nothing. And you get, there's loads of high quality paranormal shows on there. They're not YouTube standard. They are proper TV shows. Some I watch it. I've subscribed to it. I've watched them loads, and some are better than the mainstream TV shows you have. So it's really worth of money. We got the Demon Connections going on there. I've also got ideas for at least another 4 shows that we are going to be putting on there as well. So you're going to have at least 5 or 6 shows from us on there. So it's very exciting. It's going to be a lot of hard work for us, but we're looking forward to it. And the Demon Files is, I suppose, is kind of controversial. Some people, some well-known people, have disassociated themselves with me over them, but that's up to them. Like I say, we've done about 18 so far, so we've had a chat to 18 demons, and they're not, in my opinion, they're not what Hollywood portrays them, and they are not happy with the way they're portrayed.
Moira Goddard says, Dr. Ray Moody says that you can use mirrors in the right light to see loved ones who have passed. So this mirror that you've got, have you have people seen people who have passed through it?
There's a lot of people seen spirits in there, and we've seen spirits coming out. We've seen things coming out of there. Whether the loved one, I don't think our mirror would be a mirror for the loved ones, because it's just
quite dark.
It's dark, and so we don't get loved ones through that mirror. The attic room at the centre is more for the darker side of stuff.
Yeah. We've got here. So it's Power Voice UK. Just dropping it in to saying hello. So that's absolutely wonderful that you're here. Soldier, it's to do with the demon connections, demon files. Since when has Hollywood portrayed anything correctly?
Yeah.
I have a call. Oh right, okay. Sorry, I thought it was something else then. So yeah, I'd just like to know some of the connections you made with these demons, and actually what you wouldn't think of is one sent through a butterfly. So if you can explain that story.
Yeah, the butterfly one. That's actually episode 1 that's going to go on to Powerflix. We were down because this demon, I can't remember his name. I apologise. I wish they had names like John and Peter.
It'd be easier. Yeah,
but they
don't.
This demon supposed to have dealings with herbs and woodland and that sort of thing. So we thought it'd be good to go down to some woods. These woods aren't known to be haunted or any demonic entity there or anything. So it's just a wood not far from where we live. And this demon was so informative, it was unreal. And at the end of it, while we're still filming, he told Jane that he was so to show his gratitude, he was going to send us a butterfly, which to me sort of, it was a jaw-dropping moment for a supposed evil demon to show us his gratitude for getting the truth about him out, to say he was going to send us a butterfly. And then within 5 minutes, as we were talking about, stopping filming, a butterfly came down and went in front of the camera, fluttered all around us, and he stayed with us while we were walking out the woods. Could be coincidence because it's summer, so there are butterflies around. But it was fascinating.
Yeah, completely.
For a demon to say thanks was sort of mind blowing, to be honest.
It's good. Yes, Power Voice UK is my friend Jane. I thought it would be, but I didn't want to just assume. I really love the logo, by the way. We have Elaine in here. The legendary. Let me put this more politely. Ship poser, and yeah, that's it for now. Nice one. So, brilliant. Tell us about this escape room, because those that want to see more about the Demon Files, I think they can go into the programs and watch them on the Demon Connections. But the escape room, because that sounds really exciting. They're very popular at the moment, escape rooms. So the idea behind that one would be really cool.
The idea behind the escape room is, I do believe the next year or even longer are going to be difficult for paranormal teams to afford. So obviously, to keep the centre open, I need the income. So I thought, okay, what about if we have an escape room? I'll come up. It's just in the back half of the building on the second floor, so it's the darker side of things that's there. So that's why I call it the Devil's Den. I thought, kind of catchy name. We've come up with all the clues, and we've come up with all the sort of the game, and it opened last Friday. So, and we had people in Friday night testing it. It was friends testing it Friday, and they said it was fantastic. And then we opened it to paying guests on Saturday and Sunday, and it was really, really good. And all the comments, all the feedback so far have been brilliant. They said it's awesome, amazing. The hardest escape room they've done. They've done a few before, but this is the hardest. And there's a few surprises thrown in as well.
Excellent, sounds good. Soldier asks a question here, Neil. If demons are not what we believe them to be, what are they?
Okay then, my opinion. Of course, everything I say is just my opinion. I believe they come from other planets. We believe this is what demons have actually told us. They come from other planets. There was a big battle in the skies. They were demonized because they were fighting against this other force of aliens. So we believe they're aliens, pure and simple. And it's not just us that think that. There's books, there's countless books who say this sort of thing anyway. If you really research into demons and find what people are saying, one demon was a little boy, and one demon wanted to teach mankind mathematics, but he was demonized for it. Don't understand it to me. One wanted to teach us astronomy. He was demonized. So the more we do, more things make sense, to be honest. I know when we did a live feed with one of the viewers says, how do you know they're telling us the truth? And to be honest, if you're doing an paranormal investigation, you basically know when a spirit's lying to you. You can just sense it. I don't think any of the demons that we spoke to have lied to us one sentence. If they don't want to give us the answers, they'll say learn, or you can't know that answer yet, that sort of thing. So they don't try and fool us. So the ones we've come across so far, they've been great. They've just told us what they are allowed to tell us, or what each one we learn a bit more. It's like a jigsaw, and we have to earn the trust to be told more. And the more we do it, the more they tell us, and the more everything just seems to fit to me in my world.
Brilliant. I must say hello to Claire, Michelle. I think I said hello to Elaine there. So Soldier's wondering what type of aliens and planet. Has any of that sort of information come through?
One did tell us the planet he came from. To be honest, I can't remember. Jane writes everything down, so Jane's got all. But all the live feeds are still on our YouTube channel, so you can go back and watch them all anyway.
Brilliant.
But he did tell us this one did name the planet.
Cool. So you also do online events as well. I know there's people watching here that might not be able to get out for one reason or another. Tell us about online events, please.
Yeah. Well, during the lockdown, we did do virtual ghost hunts where we had, we just filmed investigating the centre, or after the lockdown, we had guest investigators investigating and streaming live. And we've not done one of them for a bit, but I'd like to bring them back. And Jane and I and Amy do a podcast on a Monday night where we play music as well. Tuesday nights we normally do a bit of a chat show like this one. We did do live seances and that sort of thing. So
sounds really good. And I've got up here, I wonder if I can share screen of what I've got up. So I was going to see if I can, because I've not actually downloaded this. So I wonder if I could. If I might not be able to do that. I'll try something else maybe. But there's a black dress that I'm trying to share, which I'm actually struggling with at the moment. Hello, Joe. Hope you're doing really good. I can see a black dress on your website. Looks quite sort of Victorian. Looks quite. Is there a story behind that one?
That would be a Victorian mourning cloak. Mm-hmm. Again, a lady said she had activity around it. Excuse me. But with items like that, it's not. It's the energy. I believe things you touch throughout your life, you leave a trace of your energy behind, and if you can tap into that energy, you can communicate. So with that morning class, with that morning cloak, it's the lady's energy that actually sewed the hundreds of sequins on, and then obviously it was worn by a lady who's mourning, probably for a husband. So we're going. I don't think there's actually a spirit attached to it. It's the energy that's been embedded into it.
Good. And you've also got some. I'm going to get some of these up actually, because I think I've worked out how to do that now. So if we just try and see if I can get this up and see if I can share the screen. So I'll just get a couple of objects. Maybe you can say a little bit about them if that's okay.
Yeah, of course.
It's just my computer's being a bit slow at this moment in time, so it's just taking its time to get the image up. So whilst you bear with me. Okay. Now some people give you objects as well. I think you said you're kind of slightly overrun with dolls and things, but you sort of say about some of the people that people just kind of drop off to you, really.
Yeah, people do give us items. They do tend to be well, in their words, evil dolls.
Oh, sorry, I'm getting that. That looks confusing. Sorry, I moved that. Yeah, let me just try and get this one up. It's a difficult way of sharing the screen. Is this up? Probably gone blank now, hasn't it? Stop sharing. So yeah, and do you find, because I know Jane sometimes doesn't connect with anything, but you get her to like she can say that you like people to see if there's like a name coming with it, like John or something like that. So
yeah, well, what we do when we get an item into the centre, what we do is initially Jane will do some work with it. So she'll say whether it's actually there's a spirit attached to it or with the item, or is there's energy actually embedded into the item. So that's the initial thing that we do. And then, the old photos.
Yeah, so
there's a series of 4 little photographs. They're only about 2 inches in size. Again, I was just drawn to them in an antique shop, and I thought I love old Victorian photos. So there's no big story attached to that. There's not a lady attached to it. There's just energy around that one.
Great stuff. Right, let me just close that one down. Stop screen. But I think you've had like Victorian photographs of the dead. So if you can say a little bit about those photographs.
Yeah, the Victorians were quite weird, weren't they? They took a lot of death photos. But I imagine photography was really expensive. But if the child had passed away, they sort of position them so they would open their eyes and position them like they were still alive and take a photo. And we do have a couple of those. One in particular, the young girl is in the centre. She, excuse me, she stays with the photo because she doesn't want to move on because she's so angry with her father from that, because she looks not very happy in the photo. So she
Is this the one?
stays. No, that's not one. That's not
All
a
right,
death
sorry.
photo. That's just a family, Victorian family.
Okay, so
But
I'll stop sharing that now.
we do get a lot of activity around that one.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. So sorry, you were saying about the girl in the centre. Sorry, before I got that up, so I do apologise for that.
No, that's no problem. So she stays. She used to be quite grumpy, but she's coming around to things now. She says she's happy at the centre. That's about it. She doesn't do a lot, to be honest. She just wanders about.
Right. Okay. So yeah, Joe says about being, never understood why taking photographs of the. Nobody ever smiled yet because it used to take so long to do, didn't it?
Yeah.
So who's standing behind the last picture? Can you explain to me what you mean, Joe? Which one that was? Is that the one with the family on, or the other one? Because there was a splodge on one of the photographs, I think.
Yeah.
So so some of the objects she brought into this morning. Now, some people claimed that that Philip Schofield's leg disappeared during it, or that he was shaking. Do you think he was? Because he's very sceptical. Do you think he was affected at all by going? Hello,
He
Paul.
he was very sceptical, and he was a little bit naughty because before I went on the show the Friday night before, they sent me a list of the questions, so I should have known everything they were going to ask, but he threw some weird random ones in, like he went on about a haunted toaster, but and he was very sceptical. With the still that someone shared about his leg missing when he's getting out of the wheelchair, unfortunately, that's just camera angle. I've looked at it again and again and again. It's just camera angle. I wish his leg had disappeared.
Yeah.
But no, it's not. It's nothing paranormal.
Yeah.
It's just but the night before I was on the show, all the lights in the studio turned themselves off. So that was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Because I remember I took all the items into the studio the night before, and it says, "Oh, please do something." I asked the spirits to do something. I was hoping they'd do something when we're live on air, but they did. They did it night before.
Yeah. Oh well. I mean, these things happen like that. You can never fully tell anything like that. How are the other members of the team? Because obviously there are lots of members of this morning to make the whole thing work. You have Holly, you have other people. Were there other people like more believing and have any of their own stories?
Holly was quite nervous, to be honest. Especially when she saw the lights go off, she was quite nervous. The rest of the crew, they were fantastic. Really, they made me feel very welcome, very at ease. My wife went with me as well, so they made her feel at ease because I was quite nervous. I can't fault the crew. Like I say, it was just Phillip. It was a bit, but he doesn't believe in it, so that's up to him.
Yeah. Well, I guess each their own, really.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, brilliant. So was there anything about the area where you started doing the Haunted Antiques Paranormal Research Centre? Was it a haunted building to begin with, or was it just somewhere that just felt right for you to use?
Yeah. Well, I started my collection in my carport. That's where I started doing live feeds of items. I used to do a different item every week, just a live feed on them. But the collection was getting too big, and so many people are asking if they can come and look at the collection. I thought it's plus we're getting activity in the house, you see, so we thought we'd see if we can get a place in Hinckley.
Yeah.
I saw quite a few possible locations, but I kept going back to this one. It is an 1800s building. But we've got the wooden beams from the 1600s inside as well. So there's a lot of history in the building. No big ghost stories before we started. But we did investigate the night before I moved my items in, and we did get activity. So the building's haunted anyway. So bringing my items in and doing our work is just made the activity grow and keep growing.
Good. Yeah, I know because we got by Joe saying the old cameras are great at capturing spirits in pictures. I think they were also Victorians because they also not only took pictures of the dead, but they also took pictures of the dying to see if they could get their spirits coming out. Have you got any of those, and have any of them actually shown maybe the soul leaving the body?
No, we haven't. I would like some, I must admit, to see what Jane can pick up from.
Yeah.
But apparently the body loses weight, doesn't it? If your body is a certain weight before you die, and then I can't remember how many pounds or ounces you do lose, but weigh someone before they die and sort of the same person after they die, they do lose weight. So whether that is soul, I can't say. I don't know.
Somebody did send me a photograph earlier. I can't see it at the moment, so do you share it on my business one? It's kind of difficult doing sort of several things. So if you say about some of the evidence, the captures, maybe EVPs that people have got from your museum, and when you're ghost hunting, what some of your favourite tools are when you're doing paranormal investigations, because I think Jane likes dowsing rods, if I remember hearing rightly.
I like dowsing rods.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah, I do like my dowsing rods. I like the pendulum. We do use Ouija boards, but you got to be careful with the Ouija board. I don't mean you got to be careful using them. You got to be careful who you're doing them with. So I only tend to use Ouija boards with my team. I know some of the team, Amy likes the Estes method or noise reduction module, whatever you want to call it. It's the same thing.
Yes.
Amy is really good at that, so she tends to do that. And we're trying different things with the demon connections. We're trying to use different pieces of equipment. A piece of equipment that we've not used yet that I've got is because spirits are pure frequencies, different frequencies. You get different spirits. We do have a piece of equipment that inputs at a certain frequency that we can't hear and converts it to a frequency we can hear. So I'm looking forward to using that on the demon connections. I don't think we've ever used it yet. We've got a copper square in the sounds room. Copper is a good conductor of energy. Spirit's supposed to be energy. The copper square and copper pyramid. The team's going to use that when they come to the centre as well. That does move, so that's really interesting. That's the sort of thing that we use, but I do like the dowsing rods, and it's always interesting to listen to Jane what she can pick up as well. As for the evidence, we've caught a doll moving on her own. We've caught a door opening on their own. I know when Phil Wyman and his High Your Haunted team came, not long after we opened, they caught the door opening on their own. We've caught some sort of creature in the attic door coming out, which is a fascinating photograph. We've caught footsteps in the dark. We've caught even during the escape room, the first one we did on Saturday. I watched on the CCTV cameras with the audio, and I heard someone laugh.
Wow.
With a deep laugh because they were struggling. I know it wasn't on the audio, and I know it wasn't them, so I'm looking forward to listening to that back.
Yeah.
Well, there's lots of EVPs being captured. It's the full range, to be honest. I don't think a lot of locations are sort of famous for one spirit, like 30th Drive, famous for the Black Monk.
Yeah.
If you come to the centre, you don't know what to expect. You know, it could be a spiritual creature. It could be. Now we even have Fred West come up. It could be anything. You just don't know what you're going to get because we're not well known for a particular spirit, which is makes it more interesting for us as a team.
So, in your collection, are any items that you don't have, but you think, oh, I'd love to add that to the collection to go in the museum?
Oh yeah, definitely. I would love. You know, David Bowie was a hero of mine. Always has been. I would love to have something that he touched to see if we can tap into that energy. Now, I'm not expecting to have. I'm not expecting David Bowie to come and say hello. If he did, I'd be great. But I would love to have some sort of music room, if you like. Whether you have something from Jimmy Page. I know he's still alive, but but he was heavily influenced by Aleister Crowley. So I'd love to have something, the rock and roll room or something like from Elvis Presley. Even I'm not a big fan of his, but something we can tap into their energy. I'm not saying we're gonna have them for it. We're not this like some of the teams who go searching for famous people who died 5 minutes ago. I'm not into that sort of thing. I'm not into drama. I have been dragged into it a couple of times, and it does my head in because I don't like it. I don't do drama. We just do what we do. People don't like us, don't watch us. If they do want to follow us, follow us.
Yeah.
But I was brought up. If you haven't got anything good to say, don't say it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how I do my life.
Yeah, because I know that I mean, won't go into it now because I'm lucky. I've avoided drama, and it's my goal to continue avoiding any drama that's in the paranormal field. But I know that you have got people that have said to you some pleasant things. You come in and said some unpleasant things, but some positive things that people have said about either your museum or when they've watched like the Demon Files. Just some of the positive feedback, because I'm all for focusing on the positive myself.
Yeah, that's what we do. I don't go on drama. Positive. The Demon Files has surprised me more than anything because I was concerned. I must admit, when Jane and I first talked about it, I was concerned about actually putting it out there because I expected to be attacked more than we did get attacked. But when people say that it's changed their whole perspective on demons, and it's changed the way they think about religion, and it's changed the way they think about the paranormal, even changed the thoughts about paranormal shows, because some shows focus on demons being evil. When people say it's changed their opinions and beliefs, that's good feeling for me, because I'm thinking, yeah, we're doing something good here. I do believe it is. And on heart, the Demon Connections is, in my opinion, the most important thing that I've ever done. And Jane will say the same. It's the most important thing, and Amy and Ant and Julia will say the same. It's the most important thing they've ever done, because we're researching, we're getting the answers that perhaps even we don't expect, and we're getting further into it. The more we do, the further we get into it.
Absolutely. Well, this is kind of the ideal time again, because some people might have not been tuning in at the beginning, but how people can get in contact with you. I know you said about the museum, but it'd be good to say it again. Also, as well, where people can see your YouTube videos, because I know you've got the Demon Files, Demon Connections, but you also do live streams that go on your YouTube channel and on your Facebook, any Facebook groups. If you're on Instagram, so just let everybody know how email address, how people can get in contact with you, basically.
Yeah, email address is neil.haprc@gmail.com. The website is hauntedresearchcentre.com. We also have our own app, which people can download. Just type in your App Store, Google Play, whatever you use, HAPRC, and you can download the app. And that's an easier way to keep up to date what we do. Because to be honest, Facebook does my head in. I did come off it couple of weeks ago. So this is probably the first time I've been on Facebook for a fortnight or so. YouTube channel is Haunted Connections TV. There's lots of old live feeds on there, and there's a chat show that me and Jane do. That goes back probably 2 or 3 years now. So there's lots of shows to watch on there.
Yeah.
And like I say, the Demon Connections is going on to Paraflix possibly in September. We're going to have a premiere of episode 1 at the centre, where we're going to invite some people to come and watch the premiere, and then I'll send it into Paraflix and see what they say.
Fantastic. So will that be like invite only, or is it you can click and
people
watch?
People can say, "Can we come?"
Yeah.
It would be nice to get lots of people, lots of friends out. I must admit, if we do get lots of people who would like to come and watch the premiere, I might even hire a local hall where I get more people in. We'll see what happens. No, if there's
really cool.
if there's only 20 people want to come, we'll do it at the centre. If there's more, we'll hire a hall so we can get as many, because it is good.
Yeah.
Episode 1 is good. It's probably the best one we've done.
Yeah. I'm sure the others will be amazing as well that are coming in. So it sounds really exciting stuff. I'd like to say hello to Laura as well. So is this Laura wants to know, because this was done before, but is that the right spelling? And so, do you know any of the other programs that you can enjoy on Paraflix? Because you do watch it, and is that the right spelling? Because Laura wants to look it up.
Yeah, it's double X at the end. You can get it on the computer. You can get it on smart TVs. You can have it. You can watch it on the mobile devices. So it's Paraflix with two X's at the end. There's lots of shows. There's about 4 or 5 from UK. The rest are American. Obviously, some aren't my cup of tea. But you're always going to get that. But on the whole, they do show the best quality paranormal shows I've ever seen. And it doesn't cost a lot. It doesn't cost a lot. Yeah, that's right, Joe. Yeah, that's right.
Excellent. Good. So yeah, I know that as well. Because you said Fred West has come through. What sort of things have you got? Have you got anything of Fred West stuff in the museum, or
yes,
is it
we
just
do.
a name come through? You can explain what they are and what came through when Fred West came through.
Yeah, we do have an item of from 25 Cromwell Street. He came through on a Ouija board, and he said there's more girls that they murdered that the police haven't found yet, but he won't tell us where. And he told us about a suicide pact with him and Rose. He did it, and she didn't. Again, you see, it's any communication with spirit. Is it really him? I don't know. I can't say for certain, because some spirits do lie to you, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. So,
but he's given us some interesting information.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's always good to write any information that comes down. So that's probably got the upstairs, the attic, the dark room. You've got like Fred West. Let's talk. 'Cause I always like to have a balance. Let's talk about a nice, good, positive spirit that has come through with one of your objects in the museum.
Well, my favourite positive one is a little boy called Bob, or Robert. He wants to be called Robert now, because I think he feels a bit more grown up. He's been with me since day one. He's attached to a clown. Bob's Clown's quite famous now. Everybody who comes to the centre who know about Bob's Clown wants to see Bob's Clown. He's a lovely little lad. He had an awful life. He was got disabilities. He's got these calipers on his legs. So So his parents couldn't cope with him, so they put him in an orphanage, and he was bullied in the orphanage, and he died really, really young. But he stays with his clown because that clown's the only toy he ever had. We do know lots of information about him, but because I'm only going back to the 50s, we don't say his surname because he's still got family still alive.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
So we don't say his full name, but we've had so many conversations with Bob, and he sort of looks after me as well. You know, he comes down at my house, and we can hear him run up the stairs, which is fine. And I suppose it's kind of sad, but he said he's happy now. He wasn't happy when he was live, but he's happy now, and he's actually made friends with another boy spirit in the centre who comes from a different time period, which is fascinating for me. But they're friends now, and they go off and play, which is what children should be doing.
Exactly. Soldier said, "I only know Kathy's clown." I don't know if I'm missing something there. Do you know that?
That's a song, isn't it? Kathy's Clown.
Oh right, okay, yeah. So yeah, you can tell how on the ball I am with a lot of music. It's mad jazz that I listen to. So
before your time, Paul.
Yeah. So have you? Because I mean, some of the most famous objects that you know of haunted are like Robert the doll, Annabelle, the doll. Have you been anywhere and seen like any of these, or spoken to anybody that have either those or any of the other famous haunted objects?
I went to another museum in England who's supposed to be had the most haunted doll in the UK. That phrase again, that phrase bugs me. I don't understand how anyone can say it's the most haunted.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know how they quantify something being more haunted than something else. But hey, that's up to them. And to be honest, I didn't think it was anything special. But people have asked me if is there any item that I wouldn't have at the centre, but there's not. I would have if they wanted to send me Robert the doll or the Annabelle doll. I'd say yes, thank you very much. But they wouldn't be behind glass.
No. Well, with if you did get Robert the doll, the great thing is that you can just say Robert did it, you know, if anything happens. So that's always was really, really good.
But you see, they're supposed to be possessed by a demon, aren't they? And I don't believe that. So I just think some people are more evil than any other sort of creature.
I have got here, Claire said, would you spend a night in your own museum? I know I wouldn't.
This is a bit of a running joke. No, I wouldn't. Simple answer, no, I wouldn't. I don't. The centre's now on 3 floors. At the minute, it's on 3 floors. It is going to go back to 2 floors soon. But the thought of going up into the back half the building and locking up on my own, I just wouldn't like that. I couldn't be on my own for any length of time. And actually, no one has ever spent the night all night on their own investigating the rooms.
Wow.
And we've been open 4 years. People have said they can do it. But once the building's empty and the lights are off, it does become a different beast.
Yes. Yeah.
It really does.
I must admit we mentioned it earlier, but I was actually at 30 East Drive very recently, and I was going to spend a night up in one of the bedrooms by myself, and I couldn't do it. Have you ever been there? It's a fascinating place. It really is.
Well, I've been twice.
Yeah.
And I must admit, I was so bored I fell asleep both times.
Oh really? Okay.
But that's just me. So personally, I wouldn't go back. But I've got good friends who've been there and had fantastic nights. I just went 2 bad nights, perhaps. I don't know. Perhaps the second time I went with the wrong attitude myself.
Hmm.
So perhaps I spoiled it for myself the second time. But
What's that? Is that about 30 East Drive? Yeah, I find like Woodchester Mansion. I've been there where it's as flat as a pancake some
yeah,
nights, and other times you go and it's all kicking off.
yeah.
Do you feel the atmosphere change, Neil?
Oh yeah, definitely. Like I said earlier, you can go in 1 minute and it feels lovely, and I'd be quite happy if it felt like that. I'd be quite happy to sit there on my own.
Hmm.
But then you go half an hour later, especially in the attic room, and it's just feels so heavy, so bad, and I just believe depends who's come through the mirror. If someone comes through the mirror who's quite negative, it changes. But yeah, the atmosphere does change in every single room.
I must say hello to my wonderful friend Lynn. Lovely to see you on here. Thank you, Lynn. Poor Fish was talking about the Weeping Boy, so the famous Crying Boy photos. Now, I've heard different things. Some people say, yeah, there is some sort of energy attached to them, and other people have said that, it's just they were so popular and they would get caught in house fire. So, what's your interpretation? Has anything come through the Crying Boy photos? I must
Okay,
admit, I don't like the things.
we do have a crime boy picture. Not because it's haunted or anything. The story, I think it started in the 70s. I think a house caught fire, but the picture didn't burn. But they're mass-produced prints, and they're coated in non-flammable varnish.
Mm.
So it's going to take a lot to burn them.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that they're all the same. Some might well be have
Mm.
attachments. I don't know, but I think it's been blown out of proportion personally.
I mean, I don't think they particularly have attachments, but I just don't like them. I really, as a piece of art and seeing something on
Yeah,
there, it's not what I choose. It's hideous.
no,
Sorry.
yeah, I agree. To see have a photo of a little boy crying, it's not nice, is it?
No, absolutely.
So
Yeah. So Claire asked, "Where is the museum?" So that'd be because you missed the first half. So if you think, right, I want to turn up to this museum. I mean, do you have to book in advance, or can you just turn up on the door and go, "Can I come
on a
in?"
Saturday, you can just turn up and we'll give you a tour. It's in Hinckley, in Leicester, South East Leicestershire, halfway between Leicester and Coventry.
Fantastic. So you've done lots so far. I mean, so many people would love to open up a museum and book events and things like that. What's next for you?
What's next for us is lots of filming at the centre. Like I said earlier, we're taking the Demon Connections to Powerflix. Um, another show. There's another idea for a show that we want to start filming in a couple of weeks. And that is going to go on Powerflix as well. Um, and then Jane and I had an idea for another sort of series that we had this idea 4 years ago. We've not got around to doing it yet. So we are going to start filming that, and we've got another idea for another show. So we're going to be very busy. Obviously, I need the teams to keep coming at weekends to fund the place. But we're going to get out more, not to haunted locations as such, but we're going to do lots more different sort of ideas for paranormal shows that have not been done before.
Yeah, good. I like the sound of it. Yes, it'd be lovely to visit with you, Lynn. We'll have to do that at some point. Amanda says the Haunted Antiques Paranormal Research Centre is the most amazing place. I've been several times, and it always proves to be active.
Yeah.
So
Hello,
really good.
Amanda.
Brilliant. So I think can the ETA investigate the museum? I think that I don't know whether Lindsay and John have contacted you at all, but I think they're definitely wanting to. I don't know
Yeah.
if they've gone anything, but that'd be That was great. So I'd rather somewhere. Where's this? I'd rather go somewhere what's active than haunted. Okay, do you actually get the difference between two? So an active place to a haunted place. Is there a difference really? Because
I
I
think
can see what Joe means.
I see
Yeah.
what she means. Yeah, just because the place is haunted or reputedly haunted doesn't mean to say it's going to be active.
Mm.
Um, the different with the centre, because we just call it the centre because it's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it? I don't know. I don't know why I called it that. It's too long winded. We just say the centre.
Yeah.
Because we've got the spirits of the building themselves itself. We've got the spirits of the items. We've got spirits of the area around us as well. Because Hinckley is an old town, and my building is right on the edge of the marketplace, which dates back from the 1300s. So you've got so many different layers at the centre. You can go and investigate 4 times and communicate or have activity from different spirits every time. And that's what keeps it interesting. I think if you go to a location and you have activity from the same spirit every time, does that get a bit tedious then? I don't personally. I think it does.
Yeah.
I don't mind going a couple of times, but if it's the same thing every time, I've done that now. So I don't want. I just want to move on.
Sure thing. Gillian says, please say a massive hello to my beautiful friend Nanny Lim. Yeah, she's lovely, isn't she, Gillian? So is everybody on here. So we've got this wonderful ParaMeet, which we have spoken about before, coming up in September 23rd, 24th. Have I got the days right?
24th, yeah.
So when I spoke to the person about the booking, he sort of said that you do lots of events in the Britannia things. Well, I've used other ones before. Places you've done as venues. If somebody wants to stay, say, in a haunted hotel, where's a good place to go? Or an active haunted hotel?
Bosworth Hall is very haunted. I've investigated that many times with Haunted Live guys. Bosworth Hall is very very haunted. I'd recommend that. And if you come to the ParaMeet, you can have a discounted room.
Fantastic. Should they get in contact with you with that, or they just mention
Yeah,
ParaMeet?
just contact me. And if you book a day pass, I will give them the code to get the discount on the room.
Yeah, fantastic. Are there any haunted rooms? And I'm wondering if any of our guests, any of the speakers, will be staying in a haunted bedroom. Or was it?
The freakiest room is room 216.
Right. Okay.
That's
So if I get the key and it says 216, that'll be a case of oh dear.
I'd worry.
You like to say any of the stories there, or should I just find out if or whoever is there?
I think you should find out yourself.
All right, okay, but you tell me afterwards, though.
I'll tell you afterwards. I'll tell you afterwards what we experienced.
Yeah. Okay. Excellent. So yeah, it sounds like an amazing place to visit and see and experience like the ghosts and that. So downstairs, any particular places? So if because hopefully they will be turning up and staying at Bosworth Hall, but if somebody's nearby and thinks, well, it's a 20-minute drive, and they're kind of just interested in having access to what you can have access to as a day visitor to ParaMeet, anywhere they should visit for hauntedness.
The couple of the rooms that we've got actually for the ParaMeet, we've had activity in. Anyway, so you were doing your talk in a haunted room, Paul.
Yeah, excellent.
So that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Obviously, if there's not other events on at the time, they will let us go into the other rooms as well. It all depends what's happening at the same time. I know the Ruth, the sales manager there, quite well, and she would let us go into other rooms as well. If there's not a wedding on sort of thing, I don't know what's going on at the same time.
Yeah, because it's been a weekend. September. It's possible still.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's lovely messages coming up
Good.
from people here. So yeah, that's nice to see the friendship happening. We did say there's drama, but let's talk about some of the friendship and lasting connections that you've had with people in this field, either coming to your wonderful centre or any of the events that you've been to.
Yeah, well, I've really good friends now with the Haunted Magazine guys, Paul and Andy. Great guys. They've been friends from day one, and they've given us so much support since we first opened. So that's the Haunted Magazine. But we've also had good friends since the centre's opened, the Haunted Live. They've done lots of live feeds from the centre, and they are good friends now. And the nice thing about it, we've seen them develop themselves over the 4 years, and that's nice. I'm friends with Barry Guy now from Help My House is Haunted. I'm friends with Lorianne, that you know well. I've met the vast majority of people I've met since I've opened are fantastic people, and I think I'm quite privileged to have got to know these people. Some have fallen off on the way on the wise by side because of the demon connections, but that's up to them.
Yeah. They might come back. Maybe they might be interested and think, oh, actually, we'll give it a go. And then maybe their perception might be altered a little bit. You never know.
You never know.
Yeah. Good. So we talked about your museum. You talked about that. We talked about how you got interested in, but can you remember your first paranormal experience? And would you be happy to talk about your first paranormal experience?
Yeah, that was when I was about 13 or 14. I was out camping with my friends in the local playing field. I got out in the middle of the night to have a wee, and I saw this lady coming down the fields behind the pub. She got long black flowing hair, white flowing dress on, white dress. Of course, I was only a young teenage then, so it scared me. So I went straight back in the tent, and I never spoke to my mum and dad about it because you didn't talk about that sort of thing them days. But then there was a book on the village came out, and apparently this lady had been seen numerous occasions, and she was jilted at the altar, and she committed suicide. So then I was talking to my mum about it only about 4 years ago, and she said, "Now in the village churchyard, you got the churchyard. Then there's some graves outside the churchyard." And I said, "Well, what are those graves for?" She says, "That's for the suicide victims." So I told Jane, and we thought, "Yeah, that's an interesting thing for us to do," because this lady, I've always wanted to know who this lady was. No one knows who she was. So Jane and I did actually went to the just outside just inside the suicide cemetery, and we did a live feed, and it was fantastic live feed, and it turns out that in a previous life of mine, it was me that jilted her.
Oh, wow.
Right. And Jane says, so she knew she was coming to me that night. She knew my energy. So, and also, I lived in the village for 18 years, and I always said to mum when I was younger, there was a barn on the way to the school, and I've always said to mum that's where I was going to die, right? And it turns out in a previous life, this is what this lady told me, that I died the night before our wedding in that room.
Oh, blimey.
And she'd been waiting for me all these 200 odd years, which was it was very emotional live feed, I must admit.
Because I'm hugely interested in past lives and reincarnation,
Yeah,
as you know. So
yeah,
yeah,
of course.
that's really interesting to hear that
So
connection. It
it's
really is. One of the things I was going to say is a bit of a jump, but I wanted to get this in because we're coming to the 90-minute
yeah,
mark soon. But I did hear, because we talked about the demon files and aliens, that you have seen a UFO, and if you can explain about that experience.
yeah. Again, I saw a UFO when we were younger, but We've also seen aliens up at the center. You know, there's a photograph that we took. There's a reflection. You know, the normal little grey. They're called greys, aren't they? It looks like a reflection of one of them in one of the cabinets. So we've seen them. We've also had other experiences with extraterrestrials in the center. It's all together. All this UFOs, Loch Ness monster creatures, spirits, ghosts. It's all entwined. It's the Fae. It's all one big thing. It's all connected.
Claire said, I 100% believe in aliens.
Yeah.
I remember actually, because I also have an interest in the cryptids and things, but I also remember seeing a panther in family holiday when I was in Cornwall. Lootable Parrot Walk, and yeah, it was definitely a panther. All three of us saw it. Have you seen any or heard stories about beasts or cryptids or anything like that, and some of them that you've come across?
Yeah, we came across there's an old priory not far from us in Thringston called Prior Grace Dew. In the woods there's supposed to be some hounds that people call it the devil hounds, but obviously we don't think they're devil hounds. But Jane and I, with a few other team members, were going through the woods one night investigating. Clear as day, we saw, I think it was two hounds with red glowing eyes coming towards us. And it made us jump because we thought they were big dogs. And if we thought we were going to get attacked by these big dogs. So we looked at each other and then looked down, they'd gone. So I do believe those hounds are there. No, I believe the Loch Ness monster. I believe that's a spiritual creature. But I find that all fascinating.
Let's see what Soldier says here, because I like getting up questions. Oh, thank you, Paul. That's nice comment of yours. It's rumoured the Grey Aliens are working with the Tor whites and our government. What do you reckon to these conspiracy theories that are going around?
I like conspiracy theories as well.
Yeah.
I think if aliens, I do believe aliens have come to the planet. I think because they're that so far advanced as us, I don't think they're going to be warlike. I think they're going to be because when you progress, you're supposed to be more peaceful. I think they are peaceful. I personally, I just think they're looking down on us, thinking you can't trust that race because we're not good, are we? As a race, we are not good. So they are looking at us to make sure we don't do anything stupid. You remember the film, the original version, The Day the Earth Stood Still?
Oh yeah, brilliant film. Yes.
The original, not the remake, because they changed the whole story. The original. I think that's what's going to happen. If we get too far into space, they're going to come down and stop us because they can't let a race like us go to other planets. Because
exactly,
we're not good.
So Joe says here, have you ever talked to someone who you thought was real, but then you turned to talk to them? Once you looked away, they were gone.
No, I've not had that experience yet, Joe. I'd like to. I would love to see. I'm very jealous of Jane. I would love to see, especially the children at the centre. I would love to be able to see what they look like. And but we are starting to see pictures drawn of them now, so that's nice. And Jane draws what she sees as well, so I'm looking forward to that.
Excellent. Claire says, do you believe in parallel universes?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, I think that it's so it's kind of come into a bit of a kind of open discussion. Well, I like it when these things become a bit of an open discussion as well. Because I know that sometimes when you've done like your lives, it can go like that. And there's been some as well talking about the ethos and what's, can't think of the word, but good to do with paranormal? What's a
The
good way of
morals.
acting? Morals. That's it. Thank
Yeah.
you. I'm glad that you came along with the dictionary then, because I was just really struggling with that one, wasn't I? The morals of paranormal investigation. Where do you set your bar for that as we're coming towards the 90-minute mark here?
Respect is the biggest thing. I don't like egos. I don't have an ego. Jane doesn't have an ego. None of my team have egos. Respect is the main thing. As talking to any spirit, even if it's supposed to be a nasty man, I will treat them with respect, because they're humans. You've got no bodies, but they're still human, and that's how I'd like people to talk to the spirits in the centre, because people are coming into their homes. Where I see it, the people coming into their homes. So if I come to your home, Paul, I will treat you with respect.
Exactly.
But that's just how I was. But it's egos I don't like.
No, exactly. I've got here Cowabunga, the wonderful Cowabunga. Thanks, Paul and Neil. Such great stories, generosity, and respect for spirit world. Must visit your centre and a ParaMeet sometime. I do apologise. I'm American. Wonderful lady. And if you do come down, I'm sure that everybody that will see you will give you a very, very warm welcome.
Yeah, of course we would.
So lovely. Anything else in the last 5 minutes that I haven't asked you that you think would be important? Because we've covered a lot of topics here, and I'd like to thank you for your time.
That's okay. It's my pleasure. I'd just like to say about the ParaMeet, it's open to everyone in the paranormal field. It's not just open to my friends. It's open to everyone. We don't all get on. I know we don't. But the ParaMeet is still open to you. Um, it's not an exclusive day. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And I was delighted. I was invited along to talk at it, and thank you for asking me. And I am genuinely absolutely looking forward to meeting everyone that turns up, the speakers, yourself, Jane. I'm sure Jane will be there, will she?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
Jane and I are opening it, so we're doing our first talk.
Excellent. So I'm really looking forward to that, and meeting not just speakers but everybody else turn up as well.
Yeah.
So I know it's going to be absolutely wonderful.
I just hope lots of people from the general public come,
Yes.
and that'll make it a success, won't it?
Yeah. Soldier says it's been a great chat tonight. Well done, both of
Thank
you,
you.
and thank you. Thank you, Soldier. It's lovely to hear. And Alison, yeah, I think it's important as well. Respect is everything.
Yeah.
I'll just say that. So, a quick rundown of the program. And is there actually a list of a program if anyone goes to your Facebook or website of just all the speakers and
Not.
that? Get my poster up.
There's the list of speakers, but I'm not done the times yet. I'm going to do that over this coming week. Everyone's going to be allocated a time, so that's when the talk's going to be going on. I think you're doing yours about 3 o'clock, aren't you, Paul?
Yeah, that's it. So about 3 o'clock. So yeah.
I think Richard Felix is 2 o'clock.
Ah, right, wonderful. So
The others, I'm just going to chuck in.
Yeah. Well, thank you for giving me a good time. You're right, just to stay on just 5 minutes afterwards, just
Yeah, of
so
course.
it's not just like bye then.
Yeah,
so
of
wonderful.
course.
Have an outstanding night, everyone, and wherever you're watching the world, if it's daytime, I hope you're having an outstanding day. Big thank you to Neil. Next guest is Delphi, who's a dream analyst, so that should be a really interesting one. Thank you, everyone. Sorry if I didn't read out all of your questions, and sorry if I missed anybody who's watching. Thank you again for joining, and see you soon next Tuesday on another live.